Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. I've been watching some YouTube videos, and people are coming out with, well, they've been doing this for years, but they've got these real exotic uh, fire starter kits. Typically, they're in a bag this size, if I can show you, or bigger. I mean, they've got 6 or 7 different tenders. They've got just 5 or 6 fire starters. I mean, just, an outrageous amount. And, if you were going to go up, well, first of all, I wouldn't even do it then. If I was going to go up and live in the mountains for the next 10 years, I would still do this system here, only I would take it and have more of these. And I'll go over this in a minute. But years ago, of some friends of ours, her son and his wife were driving back from Montana for school for Christmas. And it was the middle of the night, and they were out in remote Nevada, eastern Nevada. And I tell you, from Montana to Nevada, there's not much there, not much at all. And they hit a deer, and they got out to check the deer, and turned around, and the car just burst into flames. Luckily, one of them had a phone on them, and were able to call the police, which is remarkable. They even had cell coverage there. And it still took the state police like 2 hours to get there. And this is dead of winter in eastern Nevada, which is cold. So I sat down and I said, what can I do to help somebody? And I developed this. And I've given this to all my sons. They keep them all, to both my sons. They keep them in every vehicle. I keep one in every vehicle. There's one in my hunting pack. There's one in my fishing pack. I've given them to friends to keep in their vehicle. I've got a friend that swears this saved his life one day. He was out chucker hunting and got turned around and started raining, and he was able to start a fire with this. But let me just break this down, and I'm going to explain some other things too. So all it is two of these. All these are cotton pads wrapped in wax. Uh, Melt the wax, and you just dip it in wax. Now these won't start with a ferro rod. With my knife, I always keep a ferro rod on my knife, but they will light with a fire, and they'll burn a long time. I mean, a long time. I've got a piece of tinfoil in case I need a platform to start a fire on wet ground. I got another piece of tinfoil underneath there. Then I keep this. Uh, Here is two cotton pads, and these are sprayed with WD-40. Now I know they won't last as long as they will with Vaseline, but they're way less messier. And they fold up nice, and they go right in there, and they press down. And these are, if for some reason my lighter doesn't work, and I have to use a ferro rod, I can turn a little piece of this off, and strike it with a ferro rod. And it they work really well. And then, I keep a mini Bic here, that is wrapped in duct tape. Duct tape's another excellent fire starter, but it's just a backup, but it doesn't take up any room because, and also I can use it for first aid or some type of repair. You know, I get a hole in a tent or something like that, but, you know, just, you know, I think there's like 1,000 lights in one of these mini Bics, something like that. Then at the bottom, I've got some fat wood, another piece of tinfoil to start another fire, and two, I didn't want to mess it all up, but I did. That's okay. I'll put it back together. Um, two birthday candles cut down. And, you know, that'll last for a long time. And just to show you how well these work, now, if I remember correctly, if I light this whole thing, it'll burn about 12 minutes or so with a really strong flame. So, I mean, if I was in an absolute emergency, you know, um, you know, it didn't feel too good. And then I call this my water bottle storage. I've got another, I'm not going to pull everything out of here. It's a nightmare to put back in. But I've got another big piece of fat wood, some storm matches, let me set my timer so I can tell you how long that's burnt. Give me 1 second here. So, I don't know what, we were 30 seconds into it or so. Stormproof matches, space blanket, but that's not really for fire. There's a full-size Bic in there, also wrapped in duct tape. And then I have some other fire starting materials. Well, I've got a nitro bar. It's about that long, about that thick. That thing will burn if you lit the whole thing, but you don't need to. But it will burn for about 15 minutes. So as you can see, I've got plenty of fire starting kit. And you know, all I do is keep one of these in each car. I chew this stuff, and this container is waterproof. I have dunked it into water. Now you got to make sure you get the plastic ones. Some of them are cardboard, but the plastic ones. What do I do with the lid here? There we go. They are watertight. Once you close it like that, you hear that click. That thing is watertight, and it will not let any water in. Not that I'm even really worried about it, because these will burn if wet. You know, just shake them off and go from there. But you know, and since I chew this stuff, this costs me nothing. These cotton pads I buy at the dollar store, they're, you know, $80. I mean, $1 for 80 of them, so a little over a penny. I think I bought the wax at like some thrift store, and I think I don't know, the wax might cost me $1, maybe 50 cents. And I've got a pretty robust fire kit. You know, the firewood is from a box of firewood that I bought for camping. The birthday candles, of course, are really cheap. And it just burns just great. Now, this thing's about ready to go out, and we're rated 3 minutes. And I tore off a little chunk, as you can see here. So 1, 2, I think I get about 8 to 10 fires out of one of these at all times. If conditions are pretty good, I'll just turn on, let me go ahead and stop this. If conditions are pretty good and I've got some decent wood, I'll just tear off a little piece. I'll just tear off a little piece of wood like that. I mean, a little piece of this like that. And that'll go on for quite a while too. And, you know, I've got a substantial fire starter. And again, for everything in this, I probably, the most expensive thing. I think it's $1.19. And it fits in my pocket. And since I'm always carrying one of these in my pocket anyway, I don't even know it's there. Same way for my fishing bag and everything else. And if I do get stuck out and I do need to have a fire, and now some of you may be laughing, you saying, well, you know, wow, Steve, you know, this is really a waste video, but you know something else these are great for? Starting your charcoal on a barbecue grill. Cheap and efficient, and it does a great job. And as you can see, it burns. And you got your tin foil. This is a bigger, I'm not going to wrap it all the way, but it's a bigger thing. I mean, worst case scenario, I could even make a cup to boil some water out of it. But, you know, you've got a complete fire starter kit for the size of this, and it costs you hardly anything. And, you know, these people that build these huge packs for fire starter, you know, if I was really out in the woods lost, I mean lost, and had no idea which way to go, well, my first fire, yeah, I'd be starting this, but everywhere I go, even if it's pouring rain, I'm looking for some dry tinder. And whenever I find dry tinder, there's a plastic bag in this, empty, you know, Ziploc bag. I'd get it and throw the tinder in there, and I wouldn't need this. So honestly, I don't see why this wouldn't last me pretty much forever. Anyway, that's my video today. Y'all have a good day. Bye.